Okay, that's right. I am back, and we are here for another episode of an Instructional Nugget. So, before we start with this week's Instructional Nugget, first of all, if you had not had a chance to see last week's video, I encourage you. It was all about I can statements. I know there was some questions and some concerns about how to like the video or how to leave a comment. I know a couple of you did. Thank you so much for your comments and your feedback. It was greatly appreciated. So if you were observing or if you were watching the video directly from the S'more newsletter that I sent out, you had to actually click on the video where on the bottom right probably where it says YouTube. Click that. It'll take you to the actual YouTube, and from there you can like the video, subscribe, whatever, dislike it like I was saying earlier, or leave a comment as well. So, like I said, so last week was all about I can statements. If you have not had a chance to look at it, go ahead, let me know what you think. And then, so this week I've decided to mix it up just a little bit. So I have began, really this week I started my professional growth meetings, meeting with a few teachers this week. Yeah, I'm walking through the woods. Last week was the horses, this week's the woods. I don't know, just bear with me. So this week I've had the pleasure of meeting with a few of you as we have been discussing your professional growth plans for this coming school year. And so while I've been meeting with a few of you, it got me thinking as we were discussing your professional growth and the 2019-2020 school year of the teacher evaluation. It really got me thinking about the OTES and the ETPES and evaluation. So really the idea behind today's video and today's instructional nugget is just to kind of give you an overview of the OTES evaluation itself, from my lens, what I feel the purpose of the OTES evaluation is. And so by all means, once again, I encourage you inside the actual S'more newsletter, click on the link. If you're watching it from the S'more's newsletter, click on the YouTube link, and then you can leave a comment there directly about OTES evaluations. And by all means, leave a comment, leave a question, or whatnot. I will preface all this by saying I am not an OTES guru. I am not an OTES expert. So I do want to start off by saying that as well. Also, oh man, I don't even know if I can get through this way. Also, for my Florida educator friends, so if any of you happen to be watching this video, I do encourage you to still watch it. It may not pertain specifically to you, as the OTES, of course, is the Ohio teacher evaluation system. And down in Florida, a lot of my educator friends are using the Marzano and how Florida does their education system. But like I said, I think there's going to be a lot of similarities just with the evaluation systems for teachers in general. So once again, encourage you to watch. So really, just to get started, my whole thought process on the teacher evaluation system. So many of you know you're either going to be a fully evaluated teacher this year, or you're going to be a rating carried forward. And that was really based off of either last year or in some cases 2 years ago, your final summative rating. And so remember, your final summative rating is going to be based up basically 50% of teacher observation. And so if you're fully evaluated, you have 2 formals and you have 2 informal observations every single year. Your formal observations will be announced. There'll be a chance where you have a pre-conference, followed up by the observation, followed up by the post-conference as well. And that's just one little snapshot. And then you also have an informal observation. And then you'll have your second cycle, which will be another formal, and then another informal as well. The one thing that I will say is all 4 of those observations will create your final summative, basically your holistic rating. And I know there was a link that was sent out maybe earlier last week, really about all of the OTES teachers evaluations, anything from assessment, instruction, collaboration, professionalism, lesson delivery, so the classroom environment. So all of those are like chunks of your standards as it relates to the OTES evaluation. So if you have not had a chance to really dive into those standards, I really encourage you, really before your first observation or whatnot, to really look at what those standards are calling for. Look at the different rubrics, look at the ratings. Remember, you have all the way from ineffective all the way up to accomplished. And then so at the end of the year, like I said, your final summative is going to be based off of your teacher observation, which is 50%. The other 50% is going to come from your SLOs or your student growth measures. In some cases, if you're a value-added teacher, it'll come from that as well. And so the biggest thing I'm going to tell you, my thought process behind the evaluation system, it's not meant to be a gotcha system. It's not meant to, it's really not meant for that purpose, at least from my lens. The purpose behind it is really to grow educators, to grow teachers, and to really provide resources the best that we can for you guys to have an impact in your classroom. And so whether you're fully evaluated, whether you're a rating carry forward, this is the whole idea behind educators, behind teachers, behind any profession for that matter, is to what am I currently doing? What are some things that I can maybe do differently to really have an impact for my students inside that classroom? And so one of the things outside of our OTES evaluations that you will be having this, starting off in the next couple of weeks, is you will have walkthroughs. Now, the walkthroughs are not going to be tied to your evaluation, but the walkthroughs are going to be basically where I can come into your classroom, I'll observe for just about 5-10 minutes or so, and I'll be able to give you some feedback. And it'll be followed up probably by a face-to-face feedback where we can then have a conversation about what was observed in the classroom. And this is going to be a chance for you and for me to sit down, talk about the lesson, talk about some things that went well, and then maybe just to follow it up with a question that related to that particular lesson. And this will give you a chance to also to then hone in on a specific skill, maybe a specific standard that maybe you haven't focused on prior to an actual OTES evaluation. So I know I'm rambling. I'm hoping that this is making sense. Like I said, it's not one snapshot. It's not one observation to determine your overall rating. If you're a fully evaluated teacher, it's going to take all 4 of those evaluations. We're going to look at all standards. So I've met with a few of you, like I said, this past week. We're looking at all of those standards throughout the year, and you will hopefully get evidence as it relates on the rubric scale that we will discuss throughout the year, and that's how your rating will be calculated. Hopefully this made sense. If I made it more confusing, I apologize. Leave a comment though if I did. Like I said, really the true intent is to hopefully sit down, provide you guys face-to-face feedback, whether it's a walkthrough, whether it's an informal, or whether it's formal, so that we continue moving forward and we continue building excellence. Hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, if not, you can go ahead and leave a thumbs down, but you have to click on the link. Hope everyone has a great rest of your weekend, depending on when you're watching this, and I will see you later.